Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and we're going to address this one time. We're power washing all the buildings in our neighborhood today, and they chose to be almost directly outside of my window when I needed to start recording. So if you hear the noise, we're just going to ignore it. It sounds like an elephant. You can pretend it's an elephant if it makes you feel better about life. And speaking of elephants in the room, we got to address something that happened over the weekend. So thank you for coming in today to have this talk with me. It's going to be about tough love. So I'm going to try not to smirk and smile every time I hear the noise. But, you know, when I used to record back in Pittsburgh, we had trains going by and those air raid and tornado whistles and sirens. You guys probably remember that. So without further ado, let's jump into the topic at hand. This is going to be a tough love video. This might be one of the toughest love videos I've ever made. And many of you are probably going to feel defensive in some type of way. And if it will make you feel better to comment down below your thoughts or feelings on the matter, that's absolutely welcomed and encouraged. Just be adults about it. We are all grown adults and able to express ourselves, our opinions, and our thoughts in a mature way. And I ask that you treat each other with respect and myself. And I also wanted to remind you, and I know that I say this a lot in my tough love videos, but something my dad used to tell me when I was growing up. If someone says something that's not necessarily about you, but it makes you feel defensive or it makes you feel like that comment or what they're saying is about you, then you're probably doing something wrong. You don't feel guilty if you're not doing anything wrong. If you're driving down the road and you're going the speed limit and you pass a cop, you don't get nervous, right? If you were going 30 miles over the speed limit, that's when you start checking the rear view mirror and getting nervous and worried about being pulled over. So if what I'm about to talk about makes you feel defensive or guilty or emotional or angry or any of that, you probably want to take a step back for a second and just realize that this is probably about you, and you may want to rethink your way of thinking. So what happened over the weekend? Liz Perfectly had scheduled maintenance for a 4-hour window Saturday morning, and it ended up being a 14-hour long time that Liz Perfectly was down for this said maintenance. Now, from a technical standpoint, that does happen. And once a company takes a site down, whether it's World of Warcraft, eBay, Liz Perfectly, any number of companies that have to shut down for site maintenance, once they start the updating or the coding or whatever they're doing on the back end, they can't stop. And they have to keep going. And if they run into issues or trouble along the way, they just have to plug through it and get through it as quickly as they can to get their site back online. Now, that all said, when the 4-hour window became longer, Liz Perfectly was completely transparent. They were on live on Instagram. They were in the Facebook group. They were letting us know and being very transparent the entire day of what was going on behind the scenes and keeping us updated. And it was both the co-CEOs, Amanda and Clara, who were the ones in the videos and the posts letting us know what was going on. That is unheard of. eBay is never that transparent. eBay just will have glitches and they'll go down and they'll make a general announcement from employees they've hired for their social media. So that's what I want everyone to think about first and foremost, is it was out of their control, but they were transparent. They kept us updated the entire day, and it was their CEOs and founders on the front lines dealing with all of the upset people and the angry people and letting us know what was going on. I also wanted to address the fact that I saw a lot of people being rude. I understand that when you pay for a service, you expect to use that service. But I also understand that you don't have to be an asshole when something doesn't go right or doesn't go your way. It it's especially, like, to me, more important with something like List Perfectly, because this isn't, your cable company that maybe services 50 of the United States and has millions of people working for them, and you don't know them from Jack down the street. But with List Perfectly, again, Amanda and Clara are very active within the community, and it is a community. So the List Perfectly community, made up of resellers, talks to each other in the Facebook group all the time, and the Instagram, and Clara and Amanda interact with us. They're not just somebody at the top of a company. They're people we actually know, and also the other resellers in the group, how they were treating each other. I just didn't see that there was any reason to be rude, but there were a lot of people. I'm going to say exactly what people were getting upset at being called out on, but there were entitled people coming into that group and just acting like, you see the Karens in the videos that people make fun of, that go into a McDonald's or a Walmart and demand something because they're entitled to it. That's how folks were acting, and I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I don't even think that it should have been talked about in the Facebook group to begin with. If you really felt like you wanted some type of refund or some type of comeuppance because the downtime that was scheduled became much longer, as an adult, you could have sent an email to the List Perfectly customer service or their tech team, expressed how you felt, and that you felt you were deserving of a refund or whatever you wanted. And then you could have gone about your merry way and been productive with your day. It's not productive to come into a Facebook group and start posts that are angry or entitled and then sit there for hours on end and argue with everyone. And there were folks in there that were just doubling down and becoming more and more defensive the more it was pointed out to them that this was a waste of time. Oh, you're attacking me. Oh, you're being rude. No one is being rude to you when they say, hey, do you think being in here right now arguing with everyone and making all of these posts is a valuable use of your time? If your complaint that List Perfectly being down for 14 hours is because you didn't get any work done or you're not being productive, then why are you in a Facebook group making posts and arguing with people? Do you see the logic there? Yes, with List Perfectly down, I understand that posting or cross-posting was going to be more of a pain in the ass and not as convenient as what we're used to. If a minor inconvenience or setback is enough to completely destroy your business or make you lose thousands of dollars or causes you to have an entire day of non-productivity, I'm here to tell you that List Perfectly, actually no tool, no platform, and no one person can help you. And you're probably in the wrong business. It is inconvenient when things happen. I understand that. And it can be frustrating. And I also understand that. But you can't let it stop your business. You can't let things like that completely bring your business to a halt or cause you to have a completely unproductive day. And that was the claim of a lot of people that, they were saying because LP was down or List Perfectly was down, that their entire day was non-productive. And I'm sorry, but if that really is what happened, again, having List Perfectly is not the answer for you. Sometimes the internet goes down. Sometimes the power goes down. I mean, and the power can go down without any kind of inclination. Like we all know if a hurricane's coming or tornadoes are in the area, or even with a bad winter storm or a bad thunderstorm, you might expect, okay, I might lose my power. But somebody could be driving on the street and get into a car accident and knock the pole down that feeds electricity to your house, and you could lose power. The internet can go down. List Perfectly can go down. There's been entire days where eBay has been down and glitching out. And there's been days where people were unable to get into eBay to create their shipping labels. You have to be creative. It is frustrating. And sending an email to customer service and then getting on with your day is the answer. Because if your internet is out, you can always hotspot your phone. You can pack your stuff up and go to the library or a Starbucks. If your power goes out, same thing. If LP's down for the day, yes, we are all spoiled. I understand. Everyone that uses List Perfectly is spoiled. We are used to things being very easy for us and making one posting on a catalog, pushing it out to 4 or 5 platforms with the click of one button. But if it's not available, don't waste your entire day being unproductive. You could be listing the old-fashioned way. And you can this is what I was advising to people. The platform that you make the most money on, you could have been listing on there manually all day. When List Perfectly came back up, then you could use their bulk feature to move all of those items to your List Perfectly catalog. And then from there, push them out to the other platforms. That was too much work. I don't know. Maybe it's more fun to complain and fight in Facebook groups, but there was no reason. There's never a reason to have a completely non-productive day unless you've so chosen it. If you're on vacation, if you say this is my day off, and there were some people that were like, hey, if List Perfectly is down, I'm going to treat this as a day off and go do something else. But if you wanted to work and you were planning to work, for you to sit there and say that one of the tools that you use, or if one of the platforms that you sell on goes down, it's going to cause your entire business to come to a halt. It's going to cause an entire day of unproductivity. Is ridiculous. And you need to pull up your bootstraps and you need to get to work. You need to find something else to do that's productive. You could list on one platform where the one that makes you the most money. You could be going through your death piles. You could be organizing. Oh my goodness, here's a good idea. Why didn't some people spend their time taking lots of pictures? You could still, take tons of pictures and then have everything ready to go when it was back up to start listing. You could have taken pictures of 50 items and been ready to list 50 new listings. There's plenty of options. Whether it's List Perfectly going down, when eBay's shipping doesn't work, there's ways around that. When your internet's down, power goes out. I call them minor inconveniences because to me, a major inconvenience has to be a lot more than the loss of internet or a platform or a tool for the day. To me, a major inconvenience would be, some natural disaster wiping out our garage and every piece of inventory we have, plus everything that I have in my office that I use to work. That would be pretty major. But if it's just the internet going down for the day, or just one platform or selling platform or tool that you use, you got to have a plan B. Every good business-minded person has a plan B and probably a plan C, D, E as well. So I just wanted to address this because there were a lot of people that were using their time wisely. There were entire, posts later on that night in the List Perfectly group where people were talking about what they had done with their time that day. And that was pretty impressive. There were a lot of people that got through death piles, reorganized all of their inventory, went into their garage or wherever they keep it and redid it. There were people that double checked their inventory on eBay to make sure none of their listings had fallen off. There were people that cleaned their house. There were people that went sourcing and thrifting. There were people that took photos and measurements. There was just all these different ways that so many people were keeping themselves busy and remaining productive. And then there were the handful of folks that were just like, okay, this is my day off now, and that's fine too. But the people who really didn't want it to be a day off and were complaining the loudest about this has been the most unproductive day I've ever had, or because of List Perfectly, it's been a completely unproductive day. That's ridiculous. List Perfectly not being available for one day did not make buyers not shop on the eBay Poshmark and Mercari. People were still shopping, sales were still happening, money was still being made. List Perfectly being down for the day doesn't keep you from taking pictures or listing manually on one platform or any of these other numerous things you could have been doing. That's a better use of your time than fighting in a Facebook group. And you're not going to change my mind. So, like I said earlier, you can express how you feel in the comments, but you're not going to change my mind that going into a Facebook group to whine and complain about something outside of your control instead of doing something productive is a good use of your time. And there were plenty of people that were pointing this out and giving people ideas for things they could be doing, and they didn't want to hear it. They just wanted to double down on being, victimized, and they wanted their refund, and they wanted to fight with people. And I mean, I was accused of, oh, you're attacking us. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm giving you some tough love. Get to work. Go be productive. Stop complaining. And, in a community like the reselling community, especially, like the sub community of the List Perfect community, we all know each other. We all interact with the actual CEOs of the company. So there's no reason to be an asshole. There's ways to do things and there's ways not to do things. And going into the Facebook group to fight is not it. There's positive ways. You could have sent an email, could have expressed yourself. Now, they're going to say, well, people were calling us selfish and entitled, and they didn't need to do that either. Probably not. But somebody needed to tell those people that there was a better way to use our time. And the over dramaticness of some people who were scared and worried and, oh, I can't get any work done and I'm losing all this money. Come on. It was an unforeseen thing that happened that at the end of the day on Sunday, when we all woke up, our List Perfectly was still working. We all still had items listed on our platforms. We were all still selling and making money. So I guess I just wanted to make it very clear to everyone that is listening still. Today's tough love is things happen in life. Shit's going to happen. And you need to have a plan B. If every time something happens or there's an inconvenience, you just give up and don't work for the whole day, then you're never going to be successful. Successful people roll with the punches and have backup plans and learn to be creative and find ways around issues or problems. So again, feel free to let me know how you feel in the comments, but keep it respectful. If you would, before you leave, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And you can join our Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. There's a link down below. And if you aren't using List Perfectly yet and you would like to try it for 30% off your first month, you can use our code FlippinHippos and join their Facebook group too. Go be productive, guys. Use your time wisely. Make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all are the best. Bye.